It's automatic. I don't need to think it all. It's automatic.
Hold up,
I don't need
Buenos
a
tardes to each and everyone.
to switch gears.
I'm here today to
Reach your
discuss
mind, make
one
believe. Lose track
topic
of
of the
times like
ballpoint pen
data.
industry,
Don't
which is
see
the
you all the time.
automation and
It's
common aspects of
automatic.
manufacturing, including the metrology and the quality assurance. By yours truly,
Don't need to think it all.
Jonathan Laureano. First thing and foremost, we must know how a ballpoint pen works. Well, as far as I'm concerned, the um, the preview or trailer on how it works was previously discussed by one of my group mates, and now I'll show you the detailed presentation on how it really works. But what is a ballpoint pen and how it really works? A ballpoint pen is a writing instrument with a tip that is continuously supplied with ink. The pen consists of a metal ball seated in a socket, like what we use Rexona, Nivea, antiperspirant, below an ink reservoir or the chamber or tube that holds a supply of ink through capillary action to keep ink from leaking out. The ink reservoir is called an ink cartridge. When applied to a writing surface, the ball rotates and is backed with just enough ink through gravity for smooth writing. Like for example, different designs of ballpoint pens are available. However, they share common aspects or share common parts, including the ball, a point, ink, an ink reservoir, and an outer housing. Some pens have cups, while others have retractable systems that exposes the pen point or retracts, draws it back when a button on top of the pen is pushed, all of which are done through automation. But what is automation? First word that lies when the word automation is involved when it comes to the ballpoint industry is the word relief. Automation relieves human workers from heavy work. Since manufacturing is concerned, it requires heavy duty of works. In addition to that, according to Parsuraman, a case study on ballpoint pen assembly line entitled Investigation of Automation Strategy and its Effect on Assembly Cost. Open quotation, in general, automation has also relieved humans from heavy, dangerous, complex, boring, and time consuming tasks. Close quotation marks. It is indeed time consuming when it comes to manufacturing, and as we all know, time is directly proportional to cost. The more time we use in production, the greater cost, which is one of the reasons why automation exists to solve the increasing production cost. Speaking of production cost, automation enables the manufacturing cost effective. As manufacturing a ballpoint pen assembly requires a large money, automation lessens the production cost fairly. Well, it is indeed costly when buying machines, but when it comes to manufacturing, multiple number of products are finished in a short period of time, meaning the lesser the time consumed, the lesser it possibly costly. Automation has also been extensive, not only in the actual production but also in supportive tasks. But due to this extensiveness, durability, best in ink, best in design of the product and such are obtained. Indeed, automation is beneficial to the ballpoint pen industry. As what I am saying earlier, assembly cost is also lessened. Automation is a great factor in well-assembled ballpoint pen. That is why automation exists in the ballpoint pen industry. Katulad nga ng mga tao, nakakatanggap din tayo ng mga iba't ibang award. Well, come to think about this well-assembled pen made in automation. Let's have a peek of the bright side of the ballpoint pen brands and such. What are the awards? What are the properties and the specifications involved in the specific awards? Now let's get started. The first peak. The first peak is the Cross Century Classic, made of 10 to 14 karat gold filled. Weight is perfect and doesn't grow uncomfortable in your hand after a long period of time. It retracts with one easy fluid twist when you are done. Next, second picture is the best ink, the Uniball Jetstream Retractable. Ink won't fade, and also it won't smear if you spill with water. A dirty white spot. Third pick is the Big Crystal, the fan favorite. smooth at hindi siya mahal. Next, the Damie 2000, the best design. As you can see, it is made of fiberglass. Well, hindi siya masyadong halata, but it is clearly made in fiberglass. You can probably expect a few oohs and ahs when you use it, or at least standard question, where did you get that pen? And as the material used, it is mostly expensive. Next picture, or the last picture for this award-winning ballpoint pen in companies is the Waterman Expert Deluxe Obsession Ballpoint. Flow is distinct, precise, and professional. Once again, the top pick ballpoint pen bronze of 2020. Okay, let's move forward to where it initially started. How best in ink, best in durability, fan favorite, best design is manufactured. Ballpoint pens are made to order in mass quantities, while each manufacturer makes them slightly different. The basic steps include ink compounding, metal component formation, plastic component molding, piece assembly, packaging, labeling, and shipping. In advanced shops, pens can go from raw material to finished product in less than 5 minutes. This is the manufacturing process of a ballpoint pen industry. First is the making the ink. Here, workers known as compounders follow formula instructions to make large batches of ink. Raw materials are poured into the batch tank and thoroughly mixed, heated and mixed to combine more quickly. Some of the larger quantity raw materials are pumped and metered directly into the batch tank. These materials are added simply by pressing a button on computerized controls, which regulates the mixing speeds and the heating and cooling rates. Quality controls checks are made during different points of ink batching. Next process is the stamping and forming. While the ink is being made, the metal components of the pen are being constructed. The tungsten carbide balls are typically supplied by outside vendors. Other parts of the pen, such as the point and the body, are made using various molds. First, bands of brass are automatically inserted into stamping machines, which cut out of thousands of small discs. The brass discs are next softened and poured into compression chamber, which consists of steel ram and spring back ejector plunger. The steel ram presses on the metal, causing the plunger to retract and forcing the metal into a die cast mold. This compresses the metal and forms the various pen pieces. When the ram and plunger return to the original positions, the excess metal is then scraped off and recycled. The die is then opened and the pen piece is ejected. The form pieces are then cleaned and cut. They are immersed in a bath to remove oils used in the molding process. After they emerge from the bath, the parts are then cut to dimensions of the specific pen. The pen pieces are next polished by rotating brushes and cleaned again to remove any residual oils. The ball can then inserted into the point cavity. From the stamping and forming exterior parts or the molding the housing comes next, which includes the extrusion molding and injection molding, and we will be discuss that later. Let's move forward to the ink filling and assembly. After the components are formed, assembly can take place. Typically, the ballpoint pen is first attached to the ink reservoir. These pieces are then conveyed to injectors, which will reserve the reservoir with the appropriately colored ink. If a spring is going to be present, it is then placed on the barrel of the reservoir. Next is the final assembly, packaging, and shipping. The point and reservoir are then placed inside the main body of the pen. At this stage, other components such as the cap and ends are incorporated. Other finishing steps such as adding coatings or decorations or performing a final cleaning are also done. These finished pens are then packaged according to how they will be sold. Single pens can be put into blister packages with cardboard backings. Groups of pens are packed into bags or boxes. These sales units are then put into boxes, stacked on pallets, and shipped to distributors. And comes to the last, which is the quality control. Although quality control involves in every steps of the manufacturing processes, but we will be discuss that later on. Now, how it really works, I'll show you the video on how, kung paano nga ba o ano nga ba yung mga sinasabi ko.
A fancy, high... In a world where inexpensive, disposable ballpoint pens are the norm, there are still discriminating people who prefer using a deluxe writing instrument. A fancy, high-quality ballpoint pen is as stylish as it is functional. It's often paired with a matching pencil in an elegant gift set. Silver-plated, alligator leather, chainmail, rose gold with crystals. Pen casing designs are endless. This model is decorated with lacquer made from the resin of a particular tree that grows only in China. They apply it using a special brush made of human hair. Coating the recessed areas of a brass pen casing creates the effect of black stripes running the length of the pen. Once the resin dries, they wash the pens several times. Then, with a cotton wheel and some polishing compound, they buff the lacquer to a high gloss shine. Here's another model with an etched design. A computer-guided machine engraves the fine, intricate pattern with a diamond chisel. The casing is brass, but they'll plate it in a precious metal such as gold, platinum, or rhodium. Every pen, regardless of design, has a brass or sheet steel clip that coordinates with the rest of the pen. They position the clip on a press, and it applies just enough pressure to push tiny pegs into holes in the cap. The factory tests every clip for tension resistance. It has to stretch to a certain extent, then return to its original shape. The pen's tip is made of brass plated in silver, gold, or rhodium. This machine drills the hole through which the retractable ballpoint will protrude. This machine injects ink inside the pen cartridges, which are made of brass. It then caps the writing end with a tip containing a tiny stainless steel ball. As the pen writes, the ball transfers ink to the paper. The machine then flips the cartridges in the opposite direction and shoots some grease through the other end. This seals the ink inside. Now, the filled cartridges go for a ride on a centrifuge machine, which pushes the ink down toward the ballpoint. This machine runs random samples through a quality control test for ink flow, ensuring each cartridge outputs 8 kilometers of quality writing. A twist mechanism at the top extends and retracts the cartridge writing tip through the pen tip. The factory tests the mechanism on each and every model thousands of times. Now onto another model, this one decorated in chainmail. Workers cut the material to pen length, then fasten it around the brass pen casing. After several washes in water and solvent-free detergent, followed by several rinses, they precision glue the tip and cap to the casing. Then they insert the cartridge, along with a spring to provide resistance when the ballpoint presses against the paper. Finally, they cap the top with either a push-button mechanism like this one, or a twist mechanism, as we saw before. Before packaging, Every single pen undergoes one last quality control check under magnification to be absolutely certain that even if your spelling is poor, your writing will be great.
Forming exterior parts. This includes extrusion molding and injection molding, but first we'll talk about the extrusion molding. Extrusion process involves a large spiral screw, which forces the material through a heated chamber, making it a thick, flowing mass. It is then forced through a die, cooled, and cut. Pieces such as the pen body and ink reservoir are made by this method. Next. Injection molding is used. In this process, the plastic is heated, converting it into a liquid that can then be forcibly injected into a mold. After it cools, it solidifies and maintains its shape after the die is open. In this part, injection molding has two units. The injection molding and the clamping unit has a screw connected to motor which rotates the screw of mixing melted materials, the part of injection, while the clamping part it is attached to a mechanism of hydraulics which close the plates with certain pressure so the plates don't open during injection. Now, let's see how it works. To a video.
Once the resin pellets are loaded and digital instructions are programmed, the pellets move from the hopper to the barrel, where they're melted by heaters in the press. The ram and screw on the press work together to compress and inject the resin into the mold's runner system and through the nozzle to the mold cavity. After the cavity fills with resin, the mold opens and steel pins eject the thermoplastic part. Final parts are shipped in as fast as one day. Need molded parts? Get a quote with free design analysis within hours at Proto Labs.
Next slide will show you how cutting and shearing of barrels, tips, and such works. Since this includes a progressive manufacturing, cutting and shearing is applied in accordance to the accuracy and precision of assembly parts. These machines are produced by Micron Technology. Micron has developed machinery to making writing tips and assembly refills. As the cost of pens has been reduced over the years, Micron has developed more and more productive machines. These are the working processes from the wire cutting with Micron TR4202 or RP322, the barring tips manufacturing machining with the Micron Multi-Star LX24 to the centrifuge washing up until the testing with the Micron ATW10. These are the machines. The Micron TR4202 shearing machine, also the Micron TR4202 for the shearing machine. These are all for the wire processing machines. Another is the Micron TF120 for cutting machine, and the Micron TF120 plus pre-turning unit for the cutting machine. For wire cutting machine. Next is the cutting machine. Now we will be looking at the tips machining with Micron Multi-Star LX24. Let's see how it works. Now let's go to the metrology. Metrology in the ballpoint pen industry is a great factor in automation, from the exact formula needed in making ink to the assembly of roller ball socket, which is too small to manufacture manually, up to the precise and accurate dimensions of pen parts, such as the cartridge, tips, barrels, and etc. Quality control. Quality control, as you can see in these pictures and sa mga video na napanood na rin, some of which are showing the uh, machines used in checking tension resistance of the clip, such as the first picture, the quality of point, efficiency control, and the twist mechanism. Now, the quality of the pen components is checked during all manufacturing stages. Since thousands of parts are made each day, inspecting each one is impossible. Consequently, line inspectors take random samples of pen pieces at certain time intervals and check to ensure they meet set specifications for size, shape, and consistency. The primary testing method is visual inspection, although more rigorous measurements are also made. Various types of measuring equipment are available. Length measurements are made with vernier caliper, a micrometer, or a microscope. Each of these are each of these differ in accuracy and application. To test the condition of surface coatings, an optical flat or flat gauge may be used. Like the solid pieces of the pens, quality tests are also performed on the liquid batches of ink. After all the ingredients are added to the batch, a sample is taken to the quality control or QC laboratory for testing. Physical characteristics are checked to make sure the batch adheres to the specifications outlined in the formula instructions. The QC group runs tests such as the pH determination, viscosity checks, and appearance evaluations. If the batch is found to be out of spec, adjustments can be made. For instance, colors can be adjusted by adding more dye. In addition to these specific tests, line inspectors are also posted each phase of manufacture. Usually they visually inspect the components as they are made and check for things such as inadequately filled ink reservoirs, deformed pens, and incorrectly assembled parts. Random samples of the final products are also tested to ensure a batch of pens wires writes correctly. Now, before we end, a good pen is an accessory that will write the story of your life.
It feels like
It will sign
driving
your
a
name in some of the
Ferrari
most important documents of
when
your
you're
life,
ready.
forms from
Always
wills and testaments
first
to
in the
mortgage
game.
and
No
bills of sale.
looking
There is
back,
no
no
tool or
saying
weapon stronger
sorry
than the
when
pen.
you're ready.
References thanks to the American
It's so
Technology, the Big Crystal Company, the
easy.
Encyclopedia, the Ballpoint Pen
Take
Guide,
me from
Science, How
zero
It,
to them.
How Stops
No
Breaks. That would be all,
hesitation.
and
It's
thank you for
automatic.
listening.
I don't need to
Gracias,
think it all.
and
It's
just bye.
automatic. I don't need a manual to switch gears with you. Read your mind.